Hey y'all, I'm in the car. I'm actually waiting because I'm going to a film screening. For Exhibiting Forgiveness is the film I'm going to go see, and I'm like, I can do my review real quick here. Do I need that light? Okay, we need that light. All right, so Long Shot, a Hoops novel by Kennedy Ryan. I finished this last week, and it is, I think, 400 and like 40. Let me see. 411 pages for the book, but there's 2 epilogues that take it up to 459 pages. Thick as hell, but good. I am, as you guys know, if you saw my review for This Could Be Us and Before I Let Go, I did a combo review for those, which those are the first Kennedy Ryan books that I have ever read. I decided to deep dive into her catalog and start to read more of her books because I was trying to figure out if she's a favorite writer of mine, if I'm going to like commit to like whatever she writes, I'll read it. Because while I did enjoy Before I Let Go and I did think that This Could Be Us is nice, I'm not necessarily sure yet. But I'm also, as you all know too, if you're not new here, if you are new, welcome boo, how are you? Subscribe. I'm not really a fiction reader. I am a business book reader. I am a psychological, self-help, spirituality, like I read all of that stuff, the like stuff that's supposed to give you skills or knowledge to do something. I don't really in my adulthood read for leisure per se, and I think that's also tied to like the amount of film and television that I watch. I typically get the storytelling for that from those things, but recently I've gotten into reading books and I've really enjoyed it, so it has become an outlet. And Kennedy is an author that I have been reading a lot of. Aside from her, I think it's Tia Williams, who did 7 Days in June, which I loved. I'm probably going to reread 7 Days in June. I'm not even going to hold you. I'm probably going to reread that. But I'm focusing on Kennedy right now, and I'm actually on the second book in this series, Blockshot. So we're like chugging right along, and I have all 3. Like I got them all from the library. Shout out to the LA County Library. But I enjoyed this. If I was to give this a rating, I don't know. How do y'all rate books? I think I rate them out of 5 stars. So I would probably give this like a 4. I would give this a 4 out of 5. It's not perfect, but it's pretty damn good. It's pretty damn interesting. The characters are pretty damn compelling. The one thing that is a consistent theme that I'm seeing in Kennedy's writing, which I do struggle with, is her protagonist women. When she's not really talking about their big love, when she's not really talking about the one that they ultimately going to be with, or ultimately are like fighting to be with, or fighting with themselves to stay away from, but ultimately want to be with, she doesn't give as much nuance or as much specificity to those relationships, which to me kind of muddies the water for the protagonist and me being able to fully understand her. And an example with this is like Iris is with Caleb, but I don't know why she's with Caleb. Like, aside from him kind of being cool, and they have been together for I think a year at the time that we meet them, we don't understand what made Iris fall for him, but we're supposed to be convinced that Iris loves him. And it's like, well, what of it looks like love? What of it feels like love? And then you're immediately launched into the conflict, into the tension that Caleb brings into her life. So this technically would be like, I guess, the non-spoiler part of the review. I want to try to section my reviews like non-spoiler, and if I'm going to get to spoilers, then I'm going to tell y'all so you can click off, because ultimately I do think y'all should read the book. It's pretty good, and it's an older one. Like, this is before that series, the Skyland series with Kennedy Ryan. It is the Hoops novel series. But the same thing happened, or I felt the same thing initially in reading This Could Be Us. I felt like, why in the hell does Soledad love Edward? Why did she marry him? What brought her to this relationship? And maybe some readers don't need to know that, but I needed to know that. And I felt like I couldn't fully trust the women and what they saying and how they feel and like in the falling in love, because I don't have full context. Like, yes, we have these big swooping feelings and all of this articulation of how you feel about the big main guy that you ultimately supposed to be with. But if I don't have context of like, what does love look like on a smaller scale? What does it look like when you confuse love, or when you think that you're in love but you're not? She doesn't really give us that. And I think that if she would have given us more context for like what the love looked like, not that she had to give some type of ridiculous romantic background for the other relationships, but if she was more clear and more specific about why these women are in the relationships that they find themselves in before they get out, I think it would just help. It would just help ground us more with the protagonists. It would help us root for them more, even though I still rooted for them because they've been with horrible men. Both Edward and Caleb are like literally sent from the goddamn devil, which again, to me, it's like, what made y'all get with them to begin with? There's nothing about Caleb that would have actually attracted me from the start. Before there's a year in, before there's I meet August and kind of get confused, but then want to stay loyal because I'm not a cheater. Before there's a baby, but like before all of the things, I would have never given this man a second look. So I need to know what made you give this man a second look before I can like concede to all that this could put you through. And the same for Soledad and This Could Be Us. It's like, girl, you got 2 beautiful kids with him, cool, but you're a beautiful woman, so of course you're gonna have beautiful kids no matter who you have damn kids with. What the hell got you down the aisle? What the hell has you invested in this thing? I think she had been married at that point for like 7 to 9 years. Why? How did this happen? And I think Kennedy needs to do a better job of giving us that. It would just help flesh the story out better. It will help ground us a little bit more in the story, ground us in the character that is our protagonist, the female protagonist, and really improve the stories being told in the books. That is one of my big criticisms about this. I don't know why Iris was ever with Caleb. I don't know if Iris ever loved Caleb. So it ultimately feels like, now, none of what Caleb did to her was Iris's fault ever at all, period. I would never say that. I don't believe that. But I'm also just like, it kind of feels like Iris went through all of that for nothing, because you didn't even love him. You didn't even see a future with him. You didn't even really want to be with him. So you could have walked away. And it's even worse in this book, I think, than it was in This Could Be Us, because when we meet them, she's already married. Soledad's already married in This Could Be Us and already has 2 kids. We get in with this one. Iris is still very new. You might be in a relationship for 8 months to a year, but this is still very new for you, girl. You can walk away with no ties. No, like, you can walk away clean. There's nothing this man could do for you or do to you if you walked away at the point that we start this book. And with us not knowing why she's actually there, if she's actually in love with him, and if she is actually in love with him, what is it about him that's making her in love? It makes me, as the audience member, kind of be like, well, girl, you should have been walked away. What the hell was you thinking? And I'm sorry, y'all, it might be getting a little dark because I'm sitting here waiting for the line to open up for the screen. Oh Lord, it's not focused. Okay, there we go. Is that gonna lock? Okay, great. And I'm not editing this, y'all, so hopefully y'all bear with me. Now, the other con in this book is that we don't get a true balance of the man. And I guess this is something that I started to get used to in reading the Skyland series. I felt like she did a really great job in that series with balancing the male and the female perspective for the 2 heroes or the 2 protagonists of the story. And this one, we do not get enough of August's perspective. There's a time jump that happens and we don't know what the hell August is doing in that whole time. And I hate it. I'm struggling. Like, I literally struggled through that whole part of the book because I was just like, yo, we just jumped a year and I don't know if he did this. I don't know if he did that. I'm trying to give y'all spoiler free. So we about to get into the spoiler part of it. But I don't know all these things and I want to know. I need to know. And it kind of leans more for the male character, the big love heartthrobby, like you belong with this guy character of the book, August. It kind of makes him feel a little unreal because everything for him becomes just so coincidental and it's so perfect and perfect timing for her. And I feel like if we were to have a better balance and us to see more of the struggle, specifically in that 1 year time gap that I'm talking about, then it would help make the story grounded a little bit more and feel a little bit real. Now, is that all of the criticism that I have? I think it might be. Kennedy does this thing where she makes a lot of things coincidental. A lot of things get very cliche pretty quickly and just like, okay, girl, you just made it happen. I also feel like there's various points, and I didn't highlight any in this book. Well, one is the library's book, so I don't highlight in it. But I'm definitely going to do it in before I let go because I'm going to go buy my own copy of that. She does this thing where I feel like she spends so much time detailing little specifics on certain things, but then not enough time on the things that actually matter. And I hate it because it feels like some of the most important small moments get glossed over, but then she like blows up these other little small moments. It was like, girl, I really don't give a damn about this. Trigger warning for this damn book, though, I tell you that, for domestic violence, for sexual assault, for emotional mental abuse. It wasn't really spiritual abuse. Caleb is the devil here, quite literally the devil. And if it's any woman who has experienced the things that Iris has experienced, I will pray for you. I send out love and well wishes. Like, my God, this girl was put through the ringer. There was so much stuff that Iris went through in this book. I just was reading like, okay, damn, Kennedy, we get it. We get it, girl. And now, y'all, it's 11 minutes in, so we're going to go ahead and get into, I'm going to be speaking about spoilers. So if you haven't read the book and you want to read the book, I think that it's a really great read. It's a romance. There's definitely a happy ending. But there's a long, winding road and journey to get there. I do think that Kennedy Ryan, one of my favorite things about Kennedy Ryan as an author is how she writes men and the fantasy that she imbues into them. She writes some of the greatest written by women, sorry. And I just fall in love with them. August is probably, I don't know, maybe he could be competing for number 2, but he like number 3. No. Okay, so right now, my favorite man written by a woman is Judah from This Could Be Us. And then it's like Josiah and Shane are competing. So Shane is from 7 Days in June, and Josiah is from Before I Let Go. But Josiah is great too. No, I'm sorry. August, you 4th, babes. You fourth. I'm sorry, you're great, but you're still 4th because them, man. Oh, and honestly, Kennedy just continues on in that great vein of just writing beautifully romantic, open, honest, vulnerable, sometimes toxic, but well-intentioned man. Like that, I think is her strong suit. Truly, I have fallen in love with pretty much every man that she's written. Yeah, every man that she's written. The women I struggle with, because Soledad, I struggled. Yasmin, that's my girl. But Soledad, I struggled. And Iris, I really rock with Iris. I understand her. Now, the other thing that I would probably say is that I know that she was going through a lot, but I wish that she would have given us more consistency throughout the book tied to Iris's desires to be in sports marketing, because I feel like that kind of fell by the wayside, and it kind of just feels like it was something to do versus a true passion, when in the very beginning it felt like a very true passion. We lost elements of her connection to sports, and if that was going to be the case, then I feel like we should have been able to see how the relationship progressing with Caleb deteriorated her drive to even be engaged in sports, because when we first meet her, she is a sports fanatic, honey. She's on it, and it's great because it feels like this woman has a personality outside of how stunning she looks or how interesting she looks. And I think that's also another thing. So I personally am on a hunt to read books about monoracial black girls, because I just feel like everybody is biracial, everybody is mixed, and that's no problem, because that's what people are really out here, you know, of course, biracial, mixed, all of the things. However, oftentimes in media, I think that monoracial black women, specifically dark-skinned black women, get overlooked, we get overshadowed, we get out, like, if there's a role for a black person, they cast a mixed or biracial person versus a monoracial black person. And my particular problem with that is there becomes this glorification of how they look, which ultimately creates a conversation about, oh, they look better than you. And sometimes I get that feeling. And honestly, I'm not even gonna hold you. That was part of the reason why I struggled with This Could Be Us. I felt like Soledad was propped up as like the black man's preference, being a Puerto Rican black versus a just monoracial black woman. So I am personally searching for more books about monoracial black women, but I appreciate Iris being a Creole woman, or being a woman of Creole heritage, because when she's described, when she's uplifted, yes, she's gorgeous, yes, her eyes have all these different colors, but the main crux of like what the guy that she winds up with is like attracted to is her personality, is her intellect, is her dedication to sports, is how she talks, is all of the other things that also make you up, not just how you look. And I feel like This Could Be Us was just so heavy on Soledad got a fat ass and she got caramel skin. And I'm like, okay, that's great, but you don't have to tell me that 50 times in a book, because it gets to a point where I'm like, I'm also not believing it, because if you got to keep telling me, like, maybe she is beautiful, but who gives a shit? This is like, Iris is beautiful, but she got so many goddamn layers. She got so much to her story. She got so much that she's dealing with, and she moves throughout the world fully aware of herself and in full command of not only her looks, but what drives her, what her weaknesses are, what her strengths are. And she feels like a more fully actualized woman that I can get with a man like pining after, because he's not just pining after her because of her looks. If that makes sense, let me know in the comment section down below. But now we're definitely in the thick of the spoilers. I'm about to start spoiling. Thank God I read the 2 epilogues, because I wasn't going to read the epilogues. Don't ask me why I wasn't going to read the epilogues, y'all. I was just going to do some Erica shit. And Erica would have not read the damn epilogues. Baby, when I tell you, I'd have been so pissed if I didn't read them goddamn epilogues, because I needed them to end up together. And at the end of the book, they don't end up together. It's in the damn epilogues that they end up together. And I'm like, God damn it, thank you. There was so much back and forth here, which I get. But like, my God, open y'all's goddamn mouths and talk to one another. Please. Y'all randomly having quickie sex in a damn closet. And where the hell did Caleb come from? Your ass was in Japan, and then you magically pop up to catch this girl in the closet having amazing ass sex with the love of her life? Kennedy, please. Like, there's so many times I'll be reading these Kennedy Ryan books and I'll just be screaming, Kennedy, please. What are you talking about? Why is this man here? Caleb pissed me off so bad, because the way that he tormented this girl and like basically like was obsessed with tormenting her, it was completely disgusting. And the idea that men like this exist is still so damn disheartening to me, but it's the truth, so I get it. And in Kennedy, you did your big one with writing it. Going back to my, initial point about not having enough from August's point of view, y'all, we get the whole year when she goes to, make the deal with, or like blackmail Caleb, and then she gets out of the relationship. She gets to take, Saray and go, and she goes back to Louisiana. I love that for her. I love her to be able to be with her great grandmother and to get that perspective that, what is it? Not London. Lowe. What's Lowe's name? Shoot. Y'all, I'm sorry. What is Lowe's name? Y'all, I can't remember Lowe's full name, but Lowe, her cousin. What was I saying? Damn. I was going through the book and now I'm like, what was I even saying? Oh, she got to have the experience that Lowe, or a little bit, not fully, because Mimi dies pretty quickly. But she gets to experience the great grandmother, similar to what Lo had experienced and had been talking about. I love that for her. But in the meantime, we get no intercuts back with August, and we are left on the cliffhanger of like, he decides that he's going to get back in 8 months. Like, he's going to push himself because Caleb's ass breaks his fucking leg. Demon. He gonna push himself. He gonna do some shit that has never been done before. And I'm like, damn, I just knew we were gonna get some pages talking about this epic ass recovery, how hard he goes, breaking down crying and PT. Like, I was a collegiate athlete and I tore my meniscus in college, and like, I know what parts of what certain things feel like. I break my leg, but I know what parts of it feels like. So I was really looking forward to it. One of the things that I really gravitated to with this book was it being set in the sports world, specifically with basketball. So while some of this be cliche and the whole dirty play, if I had to read dirty play one more time, I was gonna lose it, Kennedy, because that is not what you call that man. Like, it was dirty play is like a very sterile way to describe doing something shady in the game. And I feel like it's something that white people would say, but it's not something that black people say. So when I was reading, I'm just like, it was way worse than that. Like, dirty play don't even sound as heavy as what the hell Caleb did to August. But that's neither here nor there. I was expecting to get some of his recovery journey and his return to the NBA, and we didn't get that. We literally just get her, or a couple beats of her and the cleansing with Mimi, which is all great. I like it. But then when Mimi dies, she got to figure something out, and she's like now calling up Jared. And now we get launched back into to August and what he got going on, and things are going great. And it's like, damn, he's back, cool, but we don't get to see the climb. And I don't know, maybe it's because I get invested in the men as well when I'm reading these books. I'm not just fully focused on the women, but I was really, really, really disappointed. And honestly, like, that makes me want to like say I would put it at a 3.8 versus a 4, because I really, really, really was disappointed that we got that year time gaps, like time jump, and no August within that. No context of what the hell August got going on. Not even no context of outside of his recovery, but we didn't even get context of if he was searching for her. What lengths was he going to track her down and make sure that she was okay? We find out at the very end of the book that Caleb knew where she was the whole time, probably because of her raggedy ass mama. But if Caleb can find her, then why in the hell couldn't August find her and be keeping tabs? And not necessarily to interfere or to come and take her from where she was at, but just to make sure she was okay. Like, I feel like that was definitely an area of opportunity that was missed. And I really wish we had that. Yeah, I didn't mention this earlier, but the dirty play, keep saying dirty play, pissed me off because it doesn't even sound right in conversation. It didn't land and pull to the gravity of what had happened. Not only did he do something that was untoward, he didn't do something shady in this one little play. He broke another professional player's leg on purpose. That is way more than a damn dirty play, Kennedy. Let's be real. But the stuff that I do love about it is like, and this is why I love the men that she writes. The way that the men that she writes that are supposed to be the love interest, supposed to be the end all be all, because the devils that she writes, the villains that she writes, they be villaining. But the men who are the ones that fall in love with our main protagonist women, they pine after these women so beautifully. Like, once we get to the point where Iris moves to San Diego to work at Elevation, and August is like conspiring to make things easy, or like first like lets her know like he's the HR that comes in, and then she gets all mad and she gets down on her knees and he like, stop, this is not how this is supposed to go. She's like throwing this whole damn fit. When I tell you I saw that scene play out right in front of me, it's so specifically written, and I was just keying, rubbing my feet together because I'm like, no, Iris is not, but I understand, and she's standing on business, and I love that for you, girl. But then also August ass is getting all nervous and anxious, and he just wants to show up for you, and he just wants to love you down, and you is making him so uncomfortable, because why would you think that he is trying to bring you here just to be his goddamn sex slave? He gave up $49 million for your ass, girl. Like, yes. So then that's when we're launched back into their whole thing. I really need to know what it was about Caleb that attracted Iris to begin with, because while I'm not a cheater is a very real thing, which could have kept her from August in the beginning, I don't understand why I didn't even put her in a position to like, or like, what is it about the love that she had with Caleb that kept her from even wanting to keep in connection with August? Her and August had such an electric connection to begin with. yeah, Kennedy dropped the ball with not telling us or not giving us more that would ground us in why she was in a relationship. Like, was she really happy in her relationship with Caleb before all the shit happened? Because something, you got to tell me something to make it make sense that you would let an August walk out of your life completely fine. Honey. Ooh. Yeah, but overall, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty decent read, a long read, but once you get into the thick of it, it's like good. I enjoyed, again, the sports elements, but there are quite a bit of things that are not written as true as they could be, and they took me out personally. But I also have played sports all my life, all the way through college and grad school. I'm also from Baltimore, where August is supposedly from. So there are certain things that were in the book that I'm just like, when they're speaking to various places, when they're speaking in certain ways, I'm like, this is not how this sounds. But that's just me. I don't think that anybody who is not from my same walk of life or same lived experience will even pick up on any of the things that I'm speaking to. So I'm not taking off too much for that. And those were very small detractors. I think that Iris and August are two very compelling characters, so much so that I wanted to see and hear from August even more. And then if I was to say I wanted more or needed more, I would definitely need more from August. I kind of want him to push back a little bit more. It's one thing to say, like, the girl of your dreams, the love of your life, you want to do anything for her, but I think that part of that anything also requires you to push against their settling and in their, like, allowing themselves to fall into toxic cycles, or like into insecurities, which Iris has done. And it was one thing when he did the whole raises for everybody. I love that particular pushback, but I wish I could have seen more elements of that, because I personally just eat it up. Like, I eat it up when a man loves you down. It's going to move earth and the moon for you, like gonna go lasso the moon for your ass, but he also not gonna let you play about you. And I think Iris has played about herself quite a bit. And that's also in the second book. That's, oh my God, that is wearing me thin. And Blockshot, freaking Banner is playing with herself, and it's pissing me off so bad. So I love to see a man who is not going to let you play about you and who's going to hold you accountable to, like, respecting and honoring and being kind to yourself. August kind of does it, but I would love to see him do it more. And also, y'all, so Quiet Cap, this can stay at a 4. This can stay at a 4.0 because out of 5, because I was actually hoping that the second book in the series was going to continue on with their story. And now I'm realizing that that's not how it works when people do series. Again, I'm new to this area. I'm new to this. So I didn't know. But there's still so much more that we need to know about August and Iris and how their love plays out. Like, yes, they ultimately get together, but this is just the goddamn beginning. How does their life actually work? How does Iris actually move through her career? Is she gonna have more kids? Like, I still wanted to know so much more. And when we get to the second book, when I find out who the second book is about, I'm like, why the hell are we about? I want to know what August and Iris is doing. I don't give a damn what Jared talking about, but I'm in it now. I'm like on page 100 or something. I'm like, okay, I'm in it now. But low key, we could have gotten more. We're getting peaks of them in the second book, but I could do a whole second book with them because I think that there's still so much to explore. With all of the trauma that Iris experiences at the hands of Caleb, she's going to have a lot of unlearning and unpacking to do. And yes, having a healthy partner who is absolutely obsessed with her is going to do a world of good. I think that there's still so much more that Kennedy could write about that part of it, about the aftermath of, like, surviving a man like Caleb. So yeah. And then I don't know what the third book is going to be, but I also want to see what the hell Kenan is doing. So the fact that the second book wasn't about Iris and August, I was pissed. And then the fact that it's not about Kenan, I was pissed. I'm like, ugh. But we in here. And I don't know if this review was helpful, y'all, but those are my thoughts. And I'm new into this book space, booktube and book talk and book. Your girl's here. I'm sharing my thoughts. My homegirl is really the, like, avid reader in the space of, like, various things, whether it's romance or mystery or fantasy or whatever. She loves a book down the way that I love a show or a film down. And I was talking to her and I was just like, well, you know, I like to go deep about stuff and I don't know if it's going to be too much if I get to talking about it. She's like, girl, just say what the hell you want to say. You always deep. Like, you don't know how to go shallow. So that just is what it is. And they're going to take it or they're not. But ultimately, that's what people want. They want perspective. They want to be able to have conversations. So I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope that you enjoyed my perspective, or it sparked additional thoughts for you about various books. Go and check out this book if you haven't already. And if you have read Long Shot, please, 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 I beg of you, tell me what you think of it in the comment section down below. Who is your favorite character? What was your favorite scene? What got you the most mad? What made you the most happy? What had you giggling? What had you rubbing your feet together? Tell me all of that and more in the comment section down below. Again, I thank you guys so very much, and it's perfect timing because I got to go to this screening. But I thank you guys so very much for watching this video. Hopefully you subscribe to my channel, and I'm going to see you in the next book review. I am reading the next book in the series, so we're going to have plenty to talk about.